The Chicago Comic-Con, and we're here in the Artist Alley area, and I am here with a person who is very well known as the Zombie King. He's the artist for Marvel Zombies and a whole lot more. I'm here with Arthur Suydam. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Good to be here in Chicago.
It's good to have you here. You're a frequent member here at Chicago.
Frequent member. We like Chicago.
Are they treating you well, the fans?
Yeah, the fans are great here.
Yeah.
It's a nice big show. Nice big
Great.
Juicy show. Yeah.
Right. Now you've been in the industry for quite some time, and I remember a lot of magazine covers and things from the past, and heavy metal type art and such.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of characters, ranging from Marvel, DC, and such.
Right.
Are there characters that you haven't done yet that you want to do?
Yes. I'm really game for. I'd like to write and do illustrations for a Batman Zombie series for DC. That's a project that I really want to do for DC.
Very cool. Are they going to approve that for you?
We'll see. We're trying. We're talking to them about it, and we'll see what happens.
Cool. We were talking here just before the interview, and you have one of the oldest families here, and your family lineage goes back to artists from in the 16th century.
16th century, right? Yeah,
so tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, yeah, well, the Suydam family came over in the 1680s to open up trading posts in what's now the New York area. They came over from Holland, and they fought in the Indian Wars, and as a result of that, they were able to open up a trading post. The trading post eventually became New Amsterdam, which was a Dutch colony, and then the trading post of New Amsterdam eventually became New York City. And I had two great uncles who, at the advent of the Civil War, were members of the Hudson River School in New York. And the Hudson River School is the school of painters who won American artists recognition for the first time in history. Basically, at that time in the 1800s, everything was Europe. It was all France, it was England, Germany, and Denmark. And American artists were kind of poo-pooed by the rest of the world.
Wow.
Until this school of, this collection, it's a small collection of about 8 or 10 painters who were painting the Hudson Valley came along. They were called the Hudson River Painters. So it was James Suydam and Henry Suydam, Albert Bierstadt and Thomas Cole. These were the Hudson River Painters. And they did landscapes, and their landscapes became world-renowned as great works. And so that kind of won American painters recognition for the first time in the art world.
That's amazing. It's like without your family, New Amsterdam and all that may not have ever...
Maybe.
Or it might have been called something different.
It might have been the
know.
French, or the French would have beat us to it or something.
It could have been.
Yeah.
Do you have other family members that are in the art field?
Yeah, most of them. Actually, most of my relatives are in the art field. They're in music and art.
Okay.
So a lot of them were musicians. I had another great uncle, Edward Suydam, who's considered one of America's foremost architectural artists. His drawings hang in the White House, and they have an entire wing in the Museum of New York designated to his works.
Wow.
And then we're all musicians. And so all my aunts and uncles were all bluegrass musicians. My father was a country western musician, and so and a lot of them either paint or draw or like that. I had an uncle who actually reportedly studied with Norman Rockwell, and actually that's where I learned how to paint in oils. Was I inherited his workbooks when he passed away. My aunts gave me his workbooks, and that's where I learned how to paint in oils.
Okay, and so that's basically your family is what got you into the business of doing what you do.
I guess so, yeah. It was always around. You know, music was always around, everybody playing. Every Sunday, all the aunts and uncles and my father, we'd all go together at my grandfather's house, and everybody would play, basically. It was mostly bluegrass. But then my mother was a painter, and she painted, and I think I just started fooling around with her paints when I was a kid. And I loved comics, and so I wanted to put together to combine like classical techniques of painting and drawing, combine that with comic art, because I love comics, basically.
So you grew up collecting, or?
I grew up collecting. Yeah.
What were your reading titles that you liked the most?
Well, I got burned really badly when I was 5 years old, so as a result, I had to be in the hospital for a year.
Wow.
So as is traditional when you're laid up, they bring you candy and magazines, and so my parents brought me comics. So
Nice.
I started off on the DC combat dinosaur books, which was like GIs
Sure.
with dinosaurs running around,
Sure.
and that, and then Superman and Superboy, and then after I got out of the hospital, as soon as I discovered Marvel comics, I got really hot on the Marvel comics. So I love, of course, I love Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko and Stan Lee. Yeah, those three guys. So Stan Lee and Steve Ditko and Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, that's really was my passion for many, many years. And then later on, I discovered the great illustrators, and I kind of moved my focus over to them because I wanted to improve my drawing skills and my painting skills. And as I said, I got my uncle's books, and I started to work on those. And so it's kind of like going to a marine training for illustration, basically.
Right. Wow. Okay. Do you have any projects coming up that you want the fans to know about?
Well, I'm always working on a bunch of zombie projects right now. What happened was, as a result of my formal studies, I was looking for, when I got out of high school, they offered me free college anywhere in the state, but that state was Jersey at the time, and I was looking for an art college that specialized in teaching the Renaissance masters techniques, and I couldn't find it. So then eventually I moved to New York, and was already working for DC Comics and for Marvel and for heavy metal. And then I found a school 4 blocks from my house that's all they did. They specialized in the drawing and painting and sculpting techniques of the Renaissance masters, specifically of Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and Raphael. And that's all they taught.
Sure.
So I stayed there, and I did some studies there. And what was your question? I think I got it.
Was upcoming projects that you have?
Upcoming projects. Okay. Yeah. So what I was getting to was that's kind of where the zombie thing comes from. So I did a lot of anatomical studies in that school. I did a lot of work with cadavers.
Okay.
So in our studies, the medical students would get them in the day to practice their operations on, and at night, we artists, we had access to them. So I did a lot of anatomical studies. And so I still do that for my own purpose of education and for relaxation. It kind of relaxes me drawing anatomical drawings.
Right.
And that's how I got into the zombie thing, was Marvel saw that I could really do that kind of work, and then they teamed me up. I got teamed up with Robert Kirkman, who was my partner really on the Marvel Zombies. And so that's how the Marvel Zombies got going. So now I'm doing all these zombie books, which I love doing. I never get tired of doing them.
Oh, they're fascinating books, and the art, of course, is wonderful.
I love them. Here's one that came out recently. This is the variant for, it's called Fenboys versus Zombies.
Cool.
This is about a zombie outbreak in Comic-Con in San Diego.
Oh, wow.
That's what that's about.
That's cool.
I've got my own zombie series that I've been working on. It's all painted work that I wrote, and it's called Skin Deep.
Oh, nice.
I'm close to done with that.
Okay.
Close to finish with that. And then I have a big Edgar Rice Burroughs project that I'm working on right now as well. I'm doing 26 paintings and 100 drawings for that one as well.
Wow, that's nice. Well, I know you're extremely busy, and we caught you on a Saturday with a lot of people at your door.
That's a good
step.
thing.
And if just before I let you go, then do you have a website that you'd like to tell everybody if they want to come and take a look at your work and such?
Sure. If somebody would like to see, fans want to see more of my work, they can come to arthursuydam.com. And a lot of the paintings and drawings are up there.
Okay.
And a lot of the family history is up there too. They can check out the legacy link on there, and
very cool.
They can find out more.
If they want to come over to your house for dinner, no, I'm just kidding.
Well, that's kind of my apartment, not my house. I live in New York, and apartments are small.
Actually, New York is terrible out there.
And I live on the same street. This is just a coincidence that my great uncles lived on. They lived on 10th Street, and that's where I ended up just coincidentally. I'm on 10th Street.
Oh, wow.
In the East Village.
That's great. So, folks, we're here with Arthur Suydam. Glad to have him on the show with us. Check out his website, look at his artwork and stuff. Look up for Skin Deep. It'll probably be coming out in a few months or so. It just got finished. And keep watching. We've got a lot more coming with you right here from Wizard World 2012.